This is the Tom Barnard Podcast. Listen live weekday mornings, 8 to 9:30, or anytime you like as a podcast on the Tom Barnard app at tombarnardshow.com or wherever you get your podcasts.
Yet another victory, thanks to my daughter-in-law, ladies and gentlemen. I just discovered this morning that when I said that I wish people would stop calling everybody Hitler and Nazis and all the rest of it, and then Facebook erased the post, dropped the post on me because they thought it was offensive and blah, blah, blah.
Yep.
Well, apparently they've now reinstated it because, understandably, what they did was even worse than calling someone Hitler. Protecting someone calling someone else Hitler is even worse than calling someone else Hitler. Because if you can call someone Hitler, you're a moron.
Yeah. So the Free Tom campaign worked to get you back on Facebook.
Free Tommy. That's all I have to say.
You're out the streets. Hashtag Free Tom.
Free Tom. Free Tom. Sounds like freedom, kind of, doesn't it? Free Tom.
Yeah.
Oh.
What do you think?
Whenever you want to run for office, we can just rock with that. I think we just solved it.
Ask not what your country can do for you. That's not even close to a good impression. But
it's just you ripping off the most famous presidential speeches
of all time. Of all time.
Mr. Gorbachev.
Yes. Tear down that wall. That wasn't very good either. So never mind. We'll move on from the impressions of former presidents who are now dead, shall we? All the presidential candidates who aren't named Trump or Kamala had a debate last Wednesday, and if you haven't seen it, the national anthem singer dropped multiple F-bombs during the song. Her name is Loomis. She got to Rocket's Red Glare and her voice cracked. Then she said, I effed up, forgot she was live, and asked if she could start over. She issued an apology yesterday. She said she got nervous and just panicked and felt bad because her family was watching, including her dad, who's an Army veteran. She told TMZ she's fine with it, though, because failure is greatness sometimes. No, it's not.
Have you seen the video of it?
No.
Oh, it's hilarious. And she's in the middle of it. She definitely thought it was a pre-recorded thing.
Oh.
And so she's like singing, and she kind of gets a little shaky, and she's like, I effed this up. Can we just start this over? And everybody's like, we're live. Then she's like, oh, my bad, and then just keeps singing.
So what? She didn't know she was live. Why is this a big deal? Why is this a national story?
Well, just because it's a presidential debate.
Well,
it's the third party, which nobody really takes serious anyway.
Right.
Well, that's what I was going to say is like, how many people are actually watching the presidential debate that doesn't feature Harris and Trump?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
It is all true, ladies and gentlemen. And the other thing, of course, ladies and gentlemen, it's a big story. I don't understand how two comedians I've never even heard of made it onto the stage at Madison Square Garden. Both of them are incredibly unfunny. I mean, way over the top unfunny.
Mm-hmm.
And one guy, of course, he said that Puerto Rico is a garbage dump. Well, I've been to Puerto Rico, and I'm here to tell you that it's not a garbage dump. And so there are a lot of people claiming to be Puerto Rican this morning or saying, I used to be English, but now I'm Puerto Rican just for the day.
Mm-hmm.
Once you get off their side, they don't need you to be Puerto Rican. How about that? I'm not Puerto Rican, but one of the women I have loved, one of the most loved women in my life, and Tommy O'Brien can call in and tell me if this is true or not. His mother, Deadina Purcell, of course, Deadina O'Brien, once she got married. She married an Irishman, which could be, what's worse, a Puerto Rican or an Irishman? See, I'm being funny now. Jesus Christ. But, I mean, why would you say that Puerto Rico is nothing but a large floating garbage dump? Have you ever been to Puerto Rico?
I have not, but all my, like, I guess, view of it was that it was like the number one vacation spot. Like, everybody loves Puerto Rico. Like, what are they talking about? I guess maybe if you get into the local areas, maybe it's not the greatest, but I mean, it's Puerto Rico.
I feel like that's anywhere though.
Yeah.
You can go to the nicest place ever. Then if you go a couple blocks to the west or whatever, it's like, oh, okay.
Right.
This place is maybe not as great. It seemed very out of taste. And I get that he's a comedian, but also I don't necessarily see the rationale.
Mm-hmm.
I know
in having a comedian come up and like do a set at a political rally.
Yeah, and it was Tony Hinchcliffe was the
Hinchcliffe.
Yep.
Yeah,
never heard of him.
And he's like, thing is, he's pretty successful
at
what he does. I just because he was on the roast of Tom Brady that Kevin mentioned earlier. He had a good set there. He has this show like Kill Tony, which helps like up and coming comedians kind of get a spotlight and potentially.
Oh, that's good.
Mhm.
Yeah, like he runs a pretty good ship from what I understand. I just feel like it was a bad call to get a comedian to come do a set.
No
Some of the
question.
jokes were out of taste.
No question.
Like a comedy club, it's like a sanctimony of you can kind of say whatever. People they understand they're going to a comedy show.
Yeah.
People are showing up at a
right.
political rally to like have their opinions either affirmed or or like swayed or whatever. It doesn't it doesn't show well because you're representing whoever you're speaking with.
And then it doesn't look great as well because people always will accuse Donald Trump of being racist, and then you get a comedian to come up and make a racist remark. Like it doesn't. If I'm Trump, I'm like, really? Like that's what you wanted to do during my rally? Come on.
And I don't know, but why do they think that Trump is racist?
He said some stuff that maybe doesn't come across as the most understanding or
like what?
I mean, when he called the entire NFL like sons of bitches and
that's not racist.
Well, because it was in a direct response to Colin Kaepernick like protesting police brutality.
Well, he's the biggest prick ever born. Might have something to do with this.
But yeah, so he's said other wild stuff where either it gets taken out of context, and so it's.
You're right. I just don't understand it across the board. I don't understand comedians that Puerto Rico is a floating dump. And then the other guy came on and he wasn't funny either. From what I didn't watch it. I don't watch that kind of stuff, so I didn't see any of it. I just you're not funny. Are there any funny comedians? I got a kid was in yesterday, Mike.
Yeah.
He was inspired to get into comedy by Mary Mack. Now there's a good person.
Oh yeah.
I love Mary Mack.
Friend of the show.
Mary Mack is amazing.
She's amazing. Mary Mack, get off your ass and get in here and be on the show today. You heard me. But yeah, he was inspired to get into comedy by Mary Mack, and she said to say hello to everybody, by the way. So I mean, I just let's go with Mary Mack. I don't want to go with what's his name?
Tony Hinchcliffe.
Tony Hinchcliffe.
Yep.
Wouldn't you change your name?
Yeah, that's a rough Hinchcliffe.
Sticks out.
Like
Hinchcliffe.
I'll give him that. Like I remember it, but
he sounds like a rich kid, doesn't he? Oh,
yeah.
Oh, Hinchcliffe.
It sounds like a butler.
He summers in the
Hamptons, it does sound like a butler.
Like,
Hinchcliffe.
That's Bruce Wayne's like interim butler when Alfred's out. Like Hinchcliffe, get my lobster ready, please.
We have to do a bit now, and guess who gets to play the guy that hired Hinchcliffe to be his waiter? It'd have to be Tevin, because you could say, Hinchcliffe, bring me some fruit, possibly. So you get it?
I don't know. I don't think so.
What's a fruit that he brought up?
A fruit that who? That
Hinchcliffe.
Are you talking about his joke about carving watermelon?
Yep.
Yeah, that was like I saw that clip too.
I didn't watch any of it.
I didn't either.
He had a clip. It was a weird couple of minutes, but he pointed out just like a black guy in the audience and goes, "Oh, that's my buddy. We were hanging out last night," and he goes,
"Wow, nice,
yeah,
watermelon jokes,
watermelon joke for a black guy."
It was really like, why are you saying this?
And it's not funny in the least. How did he get to be such a big name? I've never even heard of him.
Like I feel like there's jokes you could probably do.
Yeah, but not those.
It's just not that. Like it's reading the room, and that was not the room for that.
Yeah, and I think I would be curious to see how far down on the list of comedians that they wanted to perform Tony was, because a political rally, if I'm a comedian, not a chance. I'm out.
Well, plus most comedians are not conservative. They tend to be very, very liberal.
Well, even if it was a Harris rally, like I'm good.
No, I agree with you. I understand.
Yeah, because I think George Lopez spoke at a Harris rally like a week or two ago. It's just like, I don't know. If you come up there and you talk serious, I'm not going to take you seriously because I know you're a comedian.
Yep.
And if you do the comedian stuff, I feel like it's not the right place for it. So I feel like it's a lose-lose regardless.
Yep. All right, so both of you, all I have to say is steer clear of all the watermelon jokes today and all the jokes. What was the other one again? I forgot it already.
Oh, the Puerto Rico ones.
Puerto Rico's a garbage dump. Okay, why don't you go to Puerto Rico and get back to me? Plus the fact I just named 9 people that I know who are Puerto Rican. One of them, my brother-in-law, Pat. I love it. I have a Patrick O'Brien, my brother-in-law, Puerto Rican. How many Puerto Ricans you know named Pat O'Brien?
One.
Oh, you knew my brother-in-law? I didn't know that.
Through you. We have a mutual friend.
There's a guy that I miss so much. He died several years ago. Just, God damn, he's a wonder. Well, Tommy O'Brien, his younger brother, also Puerto Rican. I shouldn't be hanging out with him. Tommy O'Brien, call in. What's the number again?
952-600-2575.
Call in, TB. Oh, wait a minute. I'm TB. He's TO.
TO.
Yeah. Tommy O'Brien.
TOB.
He was yeah, that's right. T.O. Tob.
He's a real TOB.
Hey, Tob, call in that number he just gave out. But no, I just don't understand. See, people don't know. You know, there are people, honest to God, that I've met after they attacked me all those years ago and said all that stuff and said, I didn't really know you all that well. And I didn't know you had all. It's like, why don't you check before you call somebody names to see if maybe they're not who you think they are, you dumb bastard.
Right. Just hit send in an article that goes out to everybody without fact checking anything or doing any type of research is wild.
Okay, I'm going to tell you my favorite Puerto Rican story. Deadina Purcell, the mother of the entire O'Brien family, Pat O'Brien, my brother-in-law, Mike O'Brien, who was a police officer many, many years. Beautiful women in the family, the O'Brien girls, or women now. They're not girls anymore, but just a wonderful family. Spent a lot of time with them, all the rest of it. But my favorite thing, and we'll move on from here, is Mr. O'Brien, Tommy Sr., was pissed off about something. And he said something to his wife, Deadina. And I will never forget it because I don't think she knew I was right around the corner. So he says something to her, some smart ass thing to her, and leaves the room. So I hear her, not really in a whisper, a little above a whisper. She goes, "Kiss my ass, Vita." I love that so much.
That's great.
Kiss my ass, my love. That's how you should grow up, around everybody in the world. That family, really, really interesting. Matter of fact, one of the members of the family was the first woman I ever met that married a black man that wasn't black. Now that was, I don't know how many, that was 60 some years ago. I mean, all these people think that nobody's ever been around anybody. Oh, you don't like this. You don't know people's lives. You don't know who they've been around or whatever the situation is. What you want to do instead of making smart, what you should do? Study the signifying monkey. You guys know the signifying monkey?
Yep. I remember you brought it up before, but I don't remember it.
You got to check it out. I don't even want to talk about it until you check it out. It's
check it out, then.
Brilliant. There's no question. The signifying monkey. It's African humor first of all. It didn't come from America. But yeah, let's stop with the calling people things like, whatever this asshole comedian said. And I got, my feeling is, and I don't know because I don't watch that stuff and I didn't see him do it and all the rest of it. But is there some way he wanted to, get on stage for Trump and then trash the shit out of Trump? Do you think he did that on purpose? No, he did. You don't think that's what it was?
I don't think he's that
not
much
smart
of a planner to get that accomplished.
Well, that's a possibility.
And I think he was going off a teleprompter too. So
what?
Oh yeah, I would assume that they pre-screen most of his, if not all of his set.
I would assume so, but I'm sure it was somebody who may no longer be with the team, because if that's what got approved, that's a rough look.
Oh, I guarantee you, whoever hired him is done.
Oh, yeah,
there's no question about that. And then the other guy wasn't fun either. Saul Ginsberg or whatever his name was.
I guess I didn't see any clips of him. Like I said,
no, I don't know if there were any clips. Well, maybe there must have been. I would think, but. He was they're just not funny. Comedians right now, unless, look, comedians are magnificent, but there's so many of them now that are just not funny.
And I think there's a time and the place. And the place is
that's
likely
true.
A comedy club.
Yes, a comedy club, not a presidential rally.
Oh my God, the time. How did this first 15 minutes blow by so quickly?
Just a lot of we're just engulfed in rich conversation.
Rich conversation. Then we have to put up with stuff like Judd and Phil. I mean, it's not fair, is it?
No, not fair at all.
That's what I think. I think Phil and Judd are a pile of garbage.
A floating pile of garbage.
A floating pile of garbage. This ought to go well when we bring him up after the break. So. And now here he is, Judd the Garbage Man. It is Tom for Wellshire Alzheimer's and Dementia Care Facilities. Wellshire Alzheimer's and Dementia Care Facilities are a place where your loved one will live with pride and dignity. I know it's very, very important. It's important to everybody, obviously. If you care deeply about someone in your life, Wellshire is the place I highly recommend. As I said, I've known this family for 2 generations now. Good people. Wellshire is a memory care focused facility. It has a full nursing team, always staffed with a building 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. They've never used or relied on any staffing agencies. Wellshire of Medina is now accepting elderly waivers after 12 months of private pay. I know them personally, and they are a family-owned local company conveniently located right in Medina and Bloomington. They are the best staffed memory care facility in the state. Wellshire has a robust community with activities 7 days a week. If your loved one is in need of a memory care facility, please get in touch with my friends at Wellshire. Set up a tour or learn more at wellshiremn.com. That will be WEALSHIREMN.com.
When you need someone to listen, a lawyer you know and trust.
If you've never been in an auto accident, it's hard to know what to expect from the insurance adjuster. Here are some tips. 1, if they talk to you about whether or not you should hire a lawyer, it's a good sign that you probably should. 2, it's illegal for them to give you any legal advice. They aren't lawyers and they aren't licensed to practice law. 3, if they tell you that everyone involved in the accident is at fault, they're wrong. This comes from the belief that you're at fault for just being on the road. That's nonsense and not supported by any law. Finally, remember that friendly adjusters are often just gaining information. They want you to do most of the talking so they can file their report. I'm Mike Bryant from Bradshaw & Bryant. I hope you're never injured in a collision. But if you are, don't sign anything until you've talked to us.
Find Bradshaw & Bryant, personal injury attorneys at minnesotapersonalinjury.com.
Seeking justice for the injured. Bradshaw and Bryant.
Does thinking about retirement make you uncomfortable? What do you think of that, Reed?
It was a good intro.
Done like a true professional.
Uncomfortable. Sometimes the anxiety from wondering if you've saved enough can be overwhelming. But what if I told you you could ease those tensions in just 48 minutes? My guy, Josh Arnold, Mr. Money Talk, can sit down with you and get you on the right track for your financial future. Josh has navigated it all when it comes to uncertain market and economic conditions, and he'll always provide straight talk, never sugar-coated advice on how to reach the finish line with your retirement goals. Don't let your financial worries give you an ulcer, or keep you from calling Josh right now. His 48-minute no-obligation consultation could be just what you need to feel better about your future. All you have to do is call Josh today at 952-925-5608 and set up your free 48-minute no-obligation consultation. I mean, why wouldn't you do that? 48 minutes free. I mean, it's just a given. You should definitely do that and check it out if it fits your needs.
Less than an hour. It's free. You're going to get some good advice.
See, there you go. 952-925-5608. Investment services offered by Josh Arnold Investment Consultant, LLC Security Investment Advisor. Past performance is no guarantee of future results. All investments involve risk. All comments and opinions are Josh Arnold's and do not constitute investment advice. And I am a paid endorser.
This is the Tom Barnard Podcast.
I am a paid endorser. Blah, blah, blah. Judd Zulgad joins us from SKOR North right after we badmouthed him. It was wonderful.
I heard that. I'm very, very offended. I'm deeply hurt.
I want you to know that we don't think, no matter where you're from, that you're from a pile of garbage, like the comedian yesterday or was that yesterday or 2 days ago?
2 days ago.
It was 2 days ago. Yeah.
2 days ago at the Garden. Yeah, that was.
Explain to me how you walk on stage, and the first thing you say is, I don't know if it was the first thing because I didn't see it, that Puerto Rico is a pile of garbage.
I have a sincere, I have a sincere question. Are rallies often opened by comedians, like political rallies?
I would never allow a comedian anywhere near a political rally. No way.
I think so.
I've never heard of that though.
I think it's a big mistake. I would agree with you 100%. I think it's a huge. They're trying to be edgy and funny. Yeah. How is that funny though? I don't understand. Puerto Rico's a pile of garbage. How is that funny?
I have no idea. I just thought the whole thing was weird because it's like it was it was sort of like the old days when a comedian would open for like a concert act.
Yeah, right.
You know, like you'd parade a comedian out there first. So I just thought it was I don't know how it's funny certainly, but yeah, it seemed odd.
The only one I ever thought was funny, that kind of stuff, was Don Rickles, because you knew he didn't mean any of it. And he would never have said that Puerto Rico's a pile of garbage anyway. He would just attack like the host, Johnny Carson or whomever.
Oh, God, he was great. Rickles was so good.
He was phenomenal.
Just brutal, but he was so good.
Do you think these two comedians, because there were two comedians, and I don't think the second guy said anything with that big of an edge to it, but he wasn't funny again. But neither one of them were funny, at least from what I understand. But do you think he did that on purpose? That got onto the guy hates Trump, but he got onto the docket anyway, and then just tried to trash Trump?
That's a good. I have no idea.
I have no idea. Would you do that?
What I would be curious, I'd love to read a story about this whole thing from the booking process.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like who booked it? Who decided, you know what we need? We're at the Garden. Let's give a couple of comedians a big break by giving them a platform before a political rally. Like, I'd love to know, like, the thought process of the whole thing.
Why don't we do this, though? Why don't we do a little research and find out, should I say bad things about Puerto Ricans in New York or Miami? I mean, how stupid are you?
Right. And like, what does Puerto Rico have to do with Trump running for president? Like, why,
well, they get to vote in our elections, don't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, but like I don't understand. Like, hey, we're all gathered here because we like Donald Trump, correct? Yay! Also, Puerto Rico sucks. Like, what? Like that doesn't. Where does that fall?
Yeah, you're right. Why? It's not funny in the least. Whatever. Comedians need to get their head out of their ass. All right, so I didn't see the finish last night. When I went to bed last night, I believe the Dodgers were up 3-0.
Yeah, you didn't. The Yankees, Alex Verdugo hit a two-run homer with the 2 outs, so it was 4-0 at that time. So it was 4-2, and then that was it. So yeah, the Dodgers are 1 game away from winning a World Series, which is, I guess, the lesser of 2 evils.
Did you see this coming, though? Did you see the Dodgers just crushing the Yankees like that? I didn't either.
No, and Aaron Judge has been at the plate hopeless.
Yes.
You know, he has been absolutely terrible. So, no, I did not see that. I thought this would be a longer, a 6 or 7 game series. Now, it might go 5. I mean, ordinarily, the Yankees will show, 1 glimmer of hope, but it probably goes 5 games tops. And no, I did not see this coming. I did not.
Do you think this is good for baseball? Because baseball is kind of not as big a sport as it used to be. It used to be the number 1 sport in all of America, and it's not anymore. But I mean, this kind of thing can't really be too good for us. Like, oh my God, this is one of the worst World Series I've ever seen.
No, sweeps are always bad, because and actually I saw it, not surprisingly, because of the markets involved. The ratings for this one are way up from last year, which is not, which is to be expected. But 4 games is not good for business, because if you go 6 or 7 games, now you're adding more curious sports fans.
Yeah,
but last night they're up there, and I'm sure it got crushed. They're up against Monday Night Football, and it's the Giants and Steelers, which is not a great game, but you're playing against, you're going against the hottest property that exists. So yeah, there's a lot of things with baseball that are unfortunate, because you're exactly right, Tom. I mean, it's just not even, it's a regional sport now, and it is not the national sport that it used to be.
I mean, when I was a kid, it was all about baseball. I mean, everything was about Major League Baseball, but I don't know. It's just not anymore.
No. I mean, in the 70s into the 80s, it was still, baseball was still, if it went up against football, it had a chance.
Yeah.
I mean, in the 70s, it had a really good chance to win, I think. And in the 80s, but you just look at it now, and it's so, everything's about football. And if they're going to go up against football, they're probably going to always lose that battle.
Yeah, I think that's probably true. No question about it. What else is going on in your world, Pally?
Oh, plenty. You got the Vikings back on Sunday, Sunday night football against the Colts. The Timberwolves played tonight. They got crushed. I think we talked about it. Their first game last week against the Lakers, then came back and won 2. The Wild plays Pittsburgh, which is a cool story, because Marc-Andre Fleury, their 39-year-old goaltender, who's absolutely one of the best to play the game. It's going to be starting tonight in Pittsburgh, which is where he played his first 16 seasons, and it's his last year. He's announced this will be it. So there's a lot. There's a lot in my world. It's actually a great time.
See, there's nothing. Oh, I got to tell you something, by the way. I'm taking my birthday off next week. It's November 7th.
Nice.
I asked Andy to come in and host the show with these two hunyucks. What do you think of that action?
I love it.
3 guys under the age of 38. It's going to be just this wildly nuts, way over the top.
Oh,
crazy house.
You talk about comedians.
Oh
yeah, we're getting Tony Hinchcliffe on the show.
Tony Hinchcliffe's
going to rip the hell out.
Yeah, you
Puerto Rico hate, baby.
Exactly.
Open those mics and just let it fly.
Honest to God, look at this studio. What a pile of garbage, or whatever the hell he said.
It's just going to be the top 100 things we hate about Puerto Rico. Number 1.
You're right, though. That is such a stray. Of all of all the things to pick on, or what?
I know.
Why?
Puerto Rico, nothing wrong. I don't know. Like I said, I've been to Puerto Rico. I thought it was terrific. I've known Puerto Ricans my whole life. My brother-in-law was half Puerto Rican. I mean, this was 70 years ago, for Christ's sake. Where's this guy now, 70 years later?
I don't know, but yeah, you're right. It's really weird to just pick poor Puerto Rico.
How can you, first of all, judge anyone as an individual based on whether their skin color or where they're from or what? They're their own person. They didn't go through the exact same thing that all Puerto Ricans go through, or white people, black people, whatever. I've never understood condemning someone because of that. They're different. They had different experiences. Calm down.
Yeah, no, it's weird. It's weird. Poor they're just sitting there in Puerto Rico on a nice Sunday, probably enjoying the day, doing nothing wrong, and next thing you know, you are a headline. You're a headline from a rally. So yeah, no, you're exactly right.
Although one guy in Puerto Rico, I can't remember, I said something to him and he thought I said something different. He thought I offended him somehow.
Yeah, it probably.
And he looks at me and he goes, "You're making me very mad, man." I'm like, what? Yeah, he misunderstood what I said to him. So he told me he was pissed off at me. And I went, no, wait, that's not what I said.
And then a big fight ensued.
Yes, big slugfest in Puerto Rico. I just will never understand. And then what was the other one again? He said something about black people and watermelon.
Oh, yeah, some
That's
watermelon
right. Watermelon joke. There you go. Boy, there's nothing funnier than since 1500 than a watermelon joke.
I'll just speak aloud when next Tuesday is gone, because the one thing in watching sports right now is you cannot, and I mean, I'm not surprised, it's always this way, but you cannot escape the ads.
Oh God, no.
How is there not a budget, a set budget, or a salary cap? Like in sports, you can spend this amount, this set amount in every state. You can't go over it, otherwise you're disqualified. I'm sick of seeing every commercial break.
Yeah.
This is the worst person of all time. They're going to raise your taxes. They're going to.
Well, and are people still undecided right now?
Yeah.
On president? That's my question. The closer we get, the more that they should pull back on those ads, because you've decided. A lot of people have voted by now. You can go vote. Go vote today. You'll be done. But or have a remote that allows you to bypass those commercials in particular.
Yes. Right.
I voted, don't care, bang, I'm out.
There should be, when you go on Facebook or Instagram or TikTok, it'll have the sensitive content that you have to click yes, I want to see whatever this sensitive content is before it'll just show the post. I feel before a political ad, there should be a, hey, there's about to be a political ad. Do you want to watch this?
Or do you want
do you want to skip it? Yeah. Get something like that.
My favorite. Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, or there are these races in which you're not going to vote in, but you have to see the ads.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because the geo advertising fence or whatever, the Wisconsin stuff is bleeding into the Twin Cities, and it's I don't care about these two people I've never heard of.
Yeah, running for school board in Polk County.
Exactly. Yeah. Thank you.
Sorry,
I'm sure they're going to get the job done either way. I don't want to see it.
I just don't understand the whole situation. It's oh my God, can we move forward?
Yeah.
Is it ever possible to move forward?
A week from tomorrow, I'm just looking forward to being free of these
Yeah, 'cause
ads and this talk, and then we'll be done with it. And 4 years of
I forgot that 4 years ago that when I went to bed, Trump had the lead, and then when I woke up in the morning, he had lost. I forgot all about that.
Yeah, he had a pretty. I think according to the reporting, he had a pretty decent sized lead at one point.
That's what I thought. Yeah,
but it's the problem is you don't have all the. That's the thing too, is it takes so long. It feels like it's like a baseball game.
yeah.
Like you're in the third inning, but you got to get to the ninth inning. But they're trying to declare winners in the third. You can't declare yourself a winner in the third. I'm sorry. So
No.
It's already a bullpen game, so you're already struggling.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. All right, guys. I gotta run. Actually, thanks.
They're not going anywhere. Forget it, Buster.
Oh, I appreciate it.
We will talk to you tomorrow.
Oh yes. I will talk to you tomorrow. I just saw a note from Chris.
Oh, we'll talk to you tomorrow. He just goes, "Oh, yeah."
Yes, yeah. No, I was looking at a note from there.
You're telling you to shut up? Is that
no? There's a note from Egert arrived on the screen at the same time that you said that, and it's pretty funny about the fact that we will not be free of the election night talk next Tuesday. It will continue on. He's exactly right.
No, he is exactly.
All right. I'll see you guys. And I look forward to talking to you tomorrow. I did not mean that. I just thought, no.
No, we'll get the whole 3 minutes in tomorrow. Yeah.
All right. Bye, guys.
Goodbye.
See ya.
We'll be right back with the pissing and moaning Chris Egert. What's he pissing and moaning about today again?
I don't know. We'll find out.
Okay. Owner Tim Bloom and his staff at EcoFund Motorsports in Forest Lake and Burnsville specialize in quality, affordable scooters, mopeds, youth ATVs, motorcycles, electric bikes, ATVs, go-karts, and side-by-sides for the Twin Cities area. EcoFund Motorsports offers premier brands such as Benelli, Lance, Kawasaki, Moto Guzzi, Scootstar, Yamaha, Vanderhall, Vespa, and Wildside, among many, many others. I'm looking at them right now up on the screen. Good-looking bikes, man. I want to see. Oh, there's a woman riding that bike. Good. I like that better than showing the men riding the bike. You heard me. Already looking for holiday deals to take advantage of? Visit EcoFund Motorsports, the premier outdoor recreation playground in the Twin Cities. Take advantage of their unbelievable Yamaha electric bike sale going on now through November 4th. Owner Tim Bloom says it's the biggest deal he has ever been a part of in his 17 years in the motorsports business. These are high-quality Yamaha designed and built bikes that need to get sold ASAP. Buy the Yamaha CrossCore RC electric bike. It's ideal for bike trails, sidewalks, and roads. MSRP is $29.99, but it's currently on sale for $1,199 plus freight, setup, and tax. Buy a full suspension off-road Yamaha YDX Moro electric mountain bike, original MSRP at $4,799 on sale for $19.99 now through November 4th. Or you can buy the race version, the Yamaha YDX Moro Pro electric mountain bike, original MSRP, $5,499 on sale now for $2,199. That's a lot of money off, man.
You seem like a race version guy. You seem like you'd get the race version of these
Built
bikes.
for speed.
Built for speed.
I would like it.
You got to be in first.
Mm-hmm. You got to be in first,
Never
man.
last. Never last.
Never last. Both models come with a free second battery and a 5-year warranty. Colors and sizes are on a first-come, first-served basis. So hurry into EcoFund Motorsports today in Forest Lake or Burnsville to get your Yamaha electric bike now before they are gone. Visit EcoFundMotorsports.com and tell owner Tim Bloom that Tom Barnard sent you in.
The past several years have been the craziest in the history of the car business. The pandemic, supply chain, and chip issues all causing extreme inventory shortages that led to, well, predatory pricing. Some dealers charge thousands of dollars over MSRP.
We never played that game. I'm Jim Paul of Valley Buick GMC. We knew that would leave a bad taste in a customer's mouth. More importantly, from an integrity standpoint, it was just wrong.
So what about the current market? You know, inventory and pricing.
Valley has their best inventory in years. Really all the Buick and GMC models. Even the previously hard-to-find Yukons, HD pickups, and Hummer EVs. Plenty of deep discounts. Many with factory rebates and low-interest financing.
Then it's a good time to buy?
It's a great time. We're welcoming our previous customers back, as well as anyone else that felt the treatment just didn't feel right the last time somewhere else.
Valley Buick GMC in Apple Valley and Hastings or valleycardealers.com. Car buying without the bad aftertaste.
Mike Lindell, my pillow employees, want to thank my listeners. Wait a minute, I got to take a sip.
I was gonna say they sound a little like a frog got your throat there or something.
I think I just vomited up my own throat. I'm not sure. I didn't see anything come out, but no, I coughed right before literally the second we were coming on, I coughed. And all of a sudden it's like,
But you know what's going to help with that? A good night's sleep on your My Pillow, washed down by some what is it? My Coffee?
Yeah. Oh yeah, my coffee.
I got to get my coffee.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, by the way, did you notice when I drink my Pepsi? This is my last Pepsi I'm going to have. It's the last one that was in the refrigerator. And when I'm drinking it this morning, you notice I'm leaning back. Like
I was going to say, you seem to be pushed up closer to the computer so that way you don't have any spillage.
I literally had to stop and change my pants because I had an interview yesterday. Well, Reed Endersby, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
Worked at KQ forever. I did an interview with him yesterday, and I had to go home and change my pants because it literally looked like I peed my pants.
It was bad. It was a bad
very
stain.
bad.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because you could see it from where you were before anybody else. Mike Lindell, My Pillow employees, want to thank my listeners for all your continued support. When Mike started My Pillow, it was just a problem solution, one product company. Well, since then, they now have hundreds of products, some you may not even know about. For example, the brand new 4-pack dish towels, just $25. 6-pack towel sets, just $25. Bed sheets for as low as $25. Check out their overstock and closeout sale and save up to 80% on select items. Looking for a good night's sleep? Take advantage of the classic collection on a variety of My Pillows for as low as $9.88. These amazing offers won't last long, so order now. Just go to mypillow.com or call 800-516-5146 and use promo code TOM.
You're listening to the Tom Barnard Podcast.
Channel 5's Chris Egert, brought to you by Mr. Money Talk, Josh Arnold. Call Josh today for your free 48-minute evaluation, 952-925-5608. What's going on, homie?
Hello, Tomas. How are you?
I almost choked to death just now, but I'm fine now.
I heard that. So what's going on? Are you giving up Diet Pepsi?
Yep. Catherine
Good.
finally said, I've had what do you mean good? Okay, Catherine.
It's listen, I gave up the Diet Dew several years ago, and it sucks. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I understand.
But I think you'll feel better, and I think it's better for your health. I hate to be that guy.
Wild cherry Diet Pepsi.
I know it's freaking good. Trust me. And doing the early morning shift, it's like I used to crush like probably 4 or 5 Diet Mountain Dews every morning.
Oh yeah.
Because coffee gets gross at a certain point. It's just like, all right, time for my 12th cup of coffee.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, it's a nice touch, no question about it. So what's the latest on your list, Buster?
I would just suggest to you to start drinking like LaCroix or something.
Oh, I love
helps. That helps to like, it gives you the same sort of sensation as what it would be like drinking a soda, and it's a good standby. So,
what's your favorite LaCroix?
Well, I actually don't like LaCroix. I think the flavor's a little weak. I like some of the other brands of it.
I try to support the guy who brought up the name LaCroix, and then he stabs me. Right
LaCroix's not quite flavorful enough.
Chris is like, I think it tastes terrible, but you'll love it.
You'll love it.
No. I said like LaCroix, like one of those seltzer water situations.
So which ones do you like?
I can't remember the name of the brand. I get them at Cub.
What are you paying for an endorsement here? I can't remember the name unless you start paying me.
Mm-hmm. No. It's going to drive me crazy because I actually just stopped drinking those recently too, because I realized how much money a month I was spending on them. I was like drinking like 7 a day. I'm getting a sense that I have an addiction problem.
Yeah, you and I have a lot in common as far as beverages are concerned.
Yeah, it's like, why drink one when you can have 17? They taste really good.
I love LaCroix coconut. The coconut LaCroix is phenomenal.
Ooh, I've had that. That's pretty good. That actually has a little flavor to it. Some of them I just don't find are very flavorful.
Well, I understand that. I do understand that. No question about it.
Couple quick things. I just saw on the Associated Press wire a minute ago. Israel hit Iran a couple days ago. I think it was Friday, and no one was really sure what they hit. Some satellite imagery now is showing that they might have hit some Revolutionary Guard sites where they were had the capacity to build and or stockpile ballistic missiles. So those hits might have been more important to Israel than people first thought. The news just came out on that a minute ago. So for what it's worth.
I have a question for you. As
yeah.
a news person, as a news anchor,
yeah,
we got a war going on in the Ukraine. We got a war going on in Israel. Got a war going on in the. Is it apparent to the people that apparently they're not really too afraid of the United States right now? Because back in the day, I don't think Russia would have done this, obviously.
Yeah,
but certainly the Middle East, they would have been too afraid of a lot of things to do this before.
There's been a lot of discussion and debate about whether Israel's holding off on doing anything major to Iran until the presidential election's over.
Really?
Because it's so political. Yeah. And I mean, that's what the quote unquote experts have been saying and wondering. I guess nobody really knows, but anything that's going on over there is hyper political right now.
Yeah, it is.
And when you've got big election blocks of people in the United States leaning one way or the other on the way things are in the Middle East, it does make some sense to think that they would hold off to a certain extent. I don't know. I guess we'll find out.
Are you saying like, because if let's say they did something drastic now, they're saying they don't know who the president is going to be of the United States, so they might be some sort of retaliation? Part of that,
but also certain voting blocks, like people who support, the Middle Eastern nations and are not pro-Israel. They don't want there to be any of this continued action in Gaza or Lebanon. And so they've been threatening to not vote for Harris because she hasn't taken a strong enough stance in their mind against Israel. So and then you've got people who are waiting to find out if, I think it's believed that Trump would be more pro-Israel than Harris would be. So there's a lot of nuance when it comes to it. Who the hell knows? But
well, I mean, he has a daughter and grandchildren, and the son-in-law, they're Jewish. I mean, his own daughter's a Jew. What's he supposed to do?
Well, I think that it seems like the relationship with Netanyahu and Trump was a little cozier than the one between Biden and Netanyahu.
Oh yeah.
So that's one of the things that's being talked about. Whether that's actually at play, I mean, who really knows? Unless you've got Benjamin Netanyahu on the line, which I don't, so I can't ask him that. But
I have a question for you. Looking at the world leadership right now, including the United States, has it ever been lamer than it is right now? I mean, this is the best we got in the world to lead our nations, really?
I mean, I think people always come back to that one, particularly right now. It's like,
yeah.
And you hear a lot of that argument, like, is this the best? And is this the best and brightest we have? I don't know, though. I keep falling back on, why would the best and brightest get into politics? It's so nasty. True. Like, and you yield as much influence and power, I imagine, as a billionaire running a giant company as you do running the United States, and with less scrutiny than you would get being a political leader. But there was an officer involved shooting in St. Paul last night. Guy was critically hurt. Supposedly had a gun. It was right at Snelling and University. So super busy area there. Snelling was closed for most of the night. I think light rail was disrupted for quite a while. That has been cleared up, but we don't know exactly what happened. So that's kind of what's happening.
Let's back off on the shootings for at least one day. What do you say?
Be nice. Colder weather usually does that. And there is a little snow in the forecast.
What?
Get out of town.
Boy, look at the time.
Yeah. The something changed with the way there's a couple of systems moving this way. and possibility for some snowflakes on Halloween have become greater. This happened just over the last 12 hours or so. So
please don't do when Andy was 4 and Alex was 2, 3 feet of snow on Halloween.
I was
Like a
I was
moth to
just
the
gonna
flame,
say,
baby.
yep, just cue all of the 1992 Halloween snow.
91, 91,
Sorry,
Oh,
so
he's
many
got badge of honor for
God, that was
Kilgore.
30 years ago, 35 years ago,
91. Yep.
or 33 years ago, I guess it would have been. Honest to God, it was that long. I suppose Andy was born.
It's
Andy
it's
was
not supposed to be anything like that, but some of the models are tweaking it up a little higher. Barlow's not too hyper about it yet, so I take my cues from him, and he's sort of being a lot more practical about it. Maybe some snowflakes in the Twin Cities. I think he was saying areas north along 35 might see a little bit more, but
okay.
Lots can change between now and then. We'll see.
Alex, by the way, was 2 years old, 91.
Yep.
She was being carried around dressed as a witch on that day.
Oh, the little witch.
Andy was a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle.
Nice.
So I remember that day very, very clearly. It was snowy as a hell. Wasn't it almost like 3 feet of snow or something?
It was a lot. I would have been a junior, senior in high school, and I remember it snowed over in South Dakota too. And I remember it was just a super fun Halloween because we were out raising hell as teenagers do. And it was extra fun when you added the snow component. I do remember that quite well.
Do you think I missed on something having been a junior or a senior in high school?
Maybe, yeah.
I probably missed out on some fun in life. Just testing out early might have been a mistake. You think?
I mean, I think you could look at that a couple different ways, and it doesn't matter now, right? Like it happened the way it happened, but I think there's
a disaster. Is that what you're saying? It doesn't matter. You've ruined your life.
No, I'm not saying that. No regrets, but I do think there's some, having just had 2 kids go through that junior, senior year, there definitely is a lot of fun and potential for fun and lots of growth opportunities. I'm learning lots of chances to make mistakes.
Yes.
And hopefully learn from them.
Calling me now. I get people calling me from the same numbers. Should I give out the number to see who it is?
Yeah, let's maybe not do that.
Probably better not. All right, Chrissy. Have a magnificent day, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.
Bye, guys. See you later.
Thanks a lot. Channel 5's Chris Egert, brought to you by Mr. Money Talk. Josh Arnold. Call Josh today for your free 48-minute evaluation. 952-925-5608. You want to do the break here? Or you just want to go right?
No, let's bring on Mr. Kightlinger right now.
It's a great idea, right? And that's what I think. Andrew Boodhoom Kightlinger, ladies and gentlemen, lost on a mountain in Maine from Sylvester Stallone's production company, Balboa Productions, based on a true story. The film will release, as a matter of fact, this Friday, November 1st. Andrew, how are you?
I'm great. Thanks for having me. And I love all this talk of snow in South Dakota and Minnesota. It makes me miss home.
So, well, I understand it. Where were you born?
Well, I was born in Madagascar, born and raised in Madagascar. My dad was, my parents were missionaries for the Lutheran Church. But when I was 12, we moved to Pierce, South Dakota, went to high school there, and I went to college at Augustana University in Sioux Falls, good Lutheran school.
Sure.
So this is home,
No problem. Where are you living now?
I live in Los Angeles now, the necessary evil of being in my business.
That's exactly why I asked you the question, Andrew. That's exactly right. So tell me about Lost in a Mountain in Maine. Sounds terrific.
It's great. Not just because I directed it. It's great because it's a great story. It's a true story set in 1939 about a 12-year-old boy that gets lost in the wilderness of northern Maine for 9 days, and he crosses over 80 miles barefoot. And the movie chronicles that struggle and also his parents' struggles to find him. The
Balboa Productions feature.
And it's a movie. It's a movie about hope. It's about hope. It's about family. It's about community. It's for everyone.
This kid was only 12 years old. True story. He's 12 years old, lost on a mountain. My God.
I couldn't do it.
No, I don't think. As a matter of fact, I know I couldn't do it. There's no question about that. But how did it happen? I mean, should I wait to see the film, or just quickly? Can you?
No, we could talk about that. Yeah, he went on a trip with his dad and his brother, and through probably a couple mistakes. Like I think kids can go see this and both learn about what you can do in the wilderness and should do, and what you shouldn't. And he just gets caught in the wrong storm, and it separates him from his dad. And in the film it's about obviously Sylvester Stallone. We should talk about that. Produced this movie, and this movie kind of aspires to that idea of, if you get punched, you get up and you keep fighting back. And so it's about human resilience and kind of carries that Rocky ethos into a movie for children. This is a PG-rated family adventure. It's for parents, it's for kids, it's for everyone. It's pretty amazing what the kid did. And the movie, again, is meant to evoke kind of the movies you don't see anymore in theaters. Like, The Black Stallion and White Fang, Old Yeller, those types of films. We don't get those anymore in movie theaters. And that's kind of why I made it. That's
pretty amazing. Now, do you spend any time with Sylvester Stallone since, we're talking about his production company and all that?
The answer to that is yes and no. He's a very busy guy.
Right.
He is very supportive of this project. He's refreshingly hands-off. But
good.
We've had his support. Obviously, his name's all over the poster and the trailer and everything. He's a great guy, but I didn't spend that much time with him. He kind of let us do our own thing. And I'm kind of glad for that, to be honest. So.
No, I understand that. The reason I ask you that is because every Christmas, and it's been going on for years now, every Christmas where we go for the Christmas holiday after Christmas to New Year's, he's always there. And the only reason I found out in the first place that was true, and now it's every year, Andrew, I'm not kidding you. We go to this restaurant, the specific restaurant. I don't want to, reveal where he goes. I don't want to, you don't need to do that.
Yeah, let's not do that. Yeah.
Yeah, let's not do that. But
it's not Denny's. We know that.
It's not Denny's. You're absolutely right. It's not Denny's. But the greatest thing about it is the first time I was sitting with my back to him, so I didn't know he was behind me, and we had just gotten there. But honest to God, I hear this, I'll have steak and potatoes. I'm like, oh my God. I mean, you cannot not know that that's Sylvester Stallone by just 5 or 6 words. It's hilarious.
Well, the thing I'm most excited for is I haven't heard him yet say the title of this film.
Oh.
And I want to hear him say the title of this film in his voice.
I am lost on a mountain in Maine. Is he going to do it that way?
I just wanted you to do that. I love that.
Great. Hell of a nice guy from what I understand. I've said hello to him. Actually, I know his brother.
He's great.
I know Frank a lot better than I know Sylvester. Frank's a really great guy. I haven't seen Frank in a while. What's he up to now?
I don't know. That's a great question. I have no idea. I wish I did.
Well, you know what? I will tell you, Andrew, one thing, and I'm very serious. I've always been a big movie fan in any case. But what you just brought up, like these kinds of movies don't appear here anymore. So where can I see this? But thank God for, streaming and all the rest of it, because if you're looking for a movie, you can find great movies now that you may have never even heard of back in the day if it didn't make the theaters, right?
That's true. But, the nice thing about this one is it opens up on Friday, November 1st.
Yeah.
This Friday, nationwide movie theaters. And it's going to be all over the Minneapolis area. You can see it in St. Cloud. It's made for the movie theater. So everybody go out and support it.
I love the way you put that, because made for the movie theater. I do understand that, because some of these, you're just sitting there in a theater with all those other people watching this movie on the gigantic screen. I don't ever want that to go away. I really don't.
I don't think it will.
Good,
I think it's a special sauce that we always need,
That's a wonderful thing. When you coming back to town, Pally, you got to come into the studio again. You were in studio a few years ago, I remember.
I was.
Yeah, well, at KQRS, well, not here, different thing.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
When am I coming? I don't know. We'll see. Los Angeles, this movie's going really well.
I like that. Andrew's like, yeah, forget it, Tom. I'm not
I
coming.
heard you mention it was going to snow. I'm not coming.
I will gladly. No, look, I'm a complete shill. I will come and shovel for my projects any day. So you just let me know I'm there.
I'll get it done. Andrew, thank you so much for your time. Lost on a Mountain in Maine from Sylvester Stallone's production company, Balboa Productions, based on a true story. The film will release wide in theaters on November 1st, just a couple of days away. Looking forward to it, Andrew. And please do, like I said, next time you're in town, come on in. Love to see you.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thanks, Andrew. Andrew Boodhoom Kightlinger, ladies and gentlemen. What a nice guy. What do you think?
Yeah, and an incredible story. Like his story from going from Madagascar to South Dakota to Hollywood, but then
what a change.
This kid walking, however many miles barefoot to get off of a mountain in Maine. Like you'd find my body up on that mountain.
Yeah. Well, it sounded like it was like a couple hours, 9 days.
Yeah.
Like you got to be some sort of just like wilder master. Yeah, Bear Grylls, pick your poison.
But to survive, I love it.
Yeah, just surviving 9 days out in that type of wilderness, I would be dead.
No,
absolutely.
It's all true. I got to ask you guys something.
Fire away.
Because it says here 8:44 Andrew Boodhoom Kightlinger. Then it says 8:58. Then it says 9 o'clock. Then it says Josh Arnold 8:44.
Yeah, that was a typo on my end.
You're a disaster.
I know.
I'd like to point out you're a complete and utter
full-on disaster. The biggest disaster.
The biggest disaster of all time.
But yes, we have Mr. Arnold in about 5 minutes or so.
We'll take a break. Be right back, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. Josh Arnold will join us right after this. I'm talking with my friends Michael Bilski and Brad Huckle of North American Banking Company. Guys, business owners have had to deal with a lot over the last few years, haven't they?
They sure have, Tommy. We pride ourselves on being able to help our customers with the challenges they face.
Our business bankers are experts and are always ready to help our customers capitalize on opportunities and solve problems.
Loan decisions come quickly because they're made here in the Twin Cities and not shipped out of state like at some of the national banks in town.
This allows our customers to expand their businesses with confidence, knowing that they have our team of experts in their corner.
Okay, so now you give me this big thing at the end. Way to go.
Well, you are the professional.
Oh, I forgot.
Look, I know Brad and Mike, and I trust them with my banking. They've personally delivered on everything they've just said. So why not bank with my banker? North American Banking Company, a better banking experience, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Is that text you're sending so important that you missed your turn? Is that text you're sending so important that you ran the red light? Is that text you're sending so important you didn't see the ball coming onto the road or the child that followed? Hi, I'm Mike Bryant from Bradshaw & Bryant. When you take your eyes off the road for even 4 seconds, your vehicle travels 100 yards. That's the entire length of a football field. If you absolutely have to text, you need to pull off the road somewhere safe and do it from there. Texting and driving is against the law and can cause serious injury or even death to you and others. Now that is important. We hope you're never injured in a collision, but if you are, please contact us.
Find Bradshaw & Bryant, personal injury attorneys at minnesotapersonalinjury.com.
Going farther with Mike Bryant on your side, seeking justice for the injured. Bradshaw and Bryant.
The past several years have been the craziest in the history of the car business. The pandemic, supply chain and chip issues, all causing extreme inventory shortages that led to, predatory pricing. Some dealers charge thousands of dollars over MSRP.
We never played that game. I'm Jim Paul of Valley Buick GMC. We knew that would leave a bad taste in a customer's mouth. More importantly, from an integrity standpoint, it was just wrong.
So what about the current market? Inventory and pricing.
Valley has their best inventory in years. Really all the Buick and GMC models. Even the previously hard-to-find Yukons, HD pickups, and Hummer EVs. Plenty of deep discounts. Many with factory rebates and low-interest financing.
Then it's a good time to buy?
It's a great time. We're welcoming our previous customers back, as well as anyone else that felt the treatment just didn't feel right the last time somewhere else.
Valley Buick GMC in Apple Valley and Hastings or valleycardealers.com. Car buying without the bad aftertaste.
This is the Tom Barnard Podcast. Listen live weekday mornings 8 to 9:30 or anytime you like as a podcast on the Tom Barnard app, at TomBarnardShow.com or wherever you get your podcasts.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome the lovely and talented Josh Arnold. What do you think?
Oh, I like that. Lovely and talented. I like more the talented than the lovely.
More.
Well, you're the combo package, Josh.
Combo package.
But I can deal with I can deal with that.
I don't think there's any question about it. So, Buster, I gotta hop out for just 1 second because Catherine's going in for a little procedure today. So they want me to call what time to pick her up and about her medication. So I'll be back in about 2 minutes. Is that all right?
That's fine.
Okay, you schmooze up a storm with these guys and tell them to,
I
if they talk too much, just tell them,
a storm.
just tell them they shut up if they interrupt you.
Yeah, you're stuck with us, Josh.
Yeah,
I'll be right back.
Minutes.
Well, Josh,
that's okay, guys.
Well, Josh, I was curious because we are so close to this election day, voting day. I was wondering how, in your field and in your experience, how much does like stocks fluctuate? Does stuff more maybe freeze at this point, maybe a week or so out until you kind of get a better sense of who the next president's going to be, or is everything just kind of going gangbuster wild and crazy? Everything's going up and down like nobody would believe.
Well, the first deal in the market that typically will be of a concern on a macro level right now is what's the Fed going to do? What is the Fed going to do right now with interest rates? Are they going to continue to cut interest rates, or are they going to leave them alone? Right now we are on a cutting cycle, but that doesn't mean that every meeting there is going to be a Fed cut. Okay. The next meeting is going to come right after the election. So that would be next Wednesday and Thursday. Mm-hmm. There are numerous Fed governors right now who are not in the mood to cut, given the strength of economic numbers. And we'll find out a little bit more about economic numbers tomorrow with the CPI, Thursday with the personal consumption expenditure index, which I have been told is a big number for the Fed's interest rate consideration. So that's what people are actually spending money on, and whether they're spending more or less on products. And then the big number is the monthly jobs number that comes out on Friday. So depending on how these numbers go, whether they're too strong or too weak or just right, could depend on what the Fed may do next week. So there's some concern about where the Fed is going, and you can see that in the bond market. Mm-hmm. Now, typically, I follow the longer-term bond index. Market symbol is TLT, so long-term Treasury index.
Okay.
And that index, since the Fed's initial cut in September of 0.5% or 50 basis points. 50 basis points sounds bigger than 0.5%, doesn't it?
It does. And for maybe those of us who are not as economy literate, what is a basis point?
If I say 1% equals 100 basis points.
Perfect.
So
thank you. Thank you for explaining that to Tevin.
Yes. Cleared that up.
It's like infinitesimal.
Okay.
So, but 100 basis point cut. Oh my goodness, that's a big cut. Okay, that's 1%.
Okay, perfect.
But so the Fed cut 50 basis points to start off the cutting, which I thought was a little bit much, but what do I know? I'm just a little investment advisor sitting in a little office in Edina, Minnesota. I know nothing about the Fed's machinations. I can just comment, just like sports commentators, will comment on Aaron Rodgers walking off the field.
Yeah. Well, if you know nothing, that says a lot more about us because we're having you on as the expert to educate us. So,
okay. Well, I'll be an expert. I'm an unknown drip under pressure.
Yeah. Josh, are you a financial crimes? Like, do those fascinate you? Like, have you been following the JP Morgan? Like, they had the fraud where everybody was depositing checks into the ATM and then withdrawing it right away. And now JP Morgan is suing everybody because one guy got them for I believe it was almost $200,000 or $335,000. $335,000.
No, I am not following that. I did notice that. I am not an investor in bank stocks. Something I stay away from. Too many variables that you or me as an investor don't have control of nor understanding of. Banks have difficult time making money when interest rates are falling. And that's when I'm told to stay away from banks initially. But now with interest rates falling, I'm told, got to go into the bank.
Yeah.
When interest rates were rising, it was got to buy banks. But bank stocks were dropping when interest rates were rising. Of course they were. Banks were holding a lot of bonds. As interest rates go up, the bond values go down. Hence the portfolios of the banks deteriorate in value.
Yeah. Well,
and I will use the same analogy. If an investor holds a lot of bonds, interest rates go up, the value of those bonds goes down. And if you're in a bond fund, you have the worst of all possible worlds because the fund is still holding bonds that they bought at a lower interest rate environment. And those are still underwater until the bonds come due. And now they've bought bonds at a higher rate, which might make a little bit money, but it's not going to be enough to offset those losses. So that's another thing I stay away from is investing in bond funds. If I'm looking for income, which is one reason that people will buy the funds, there are plenty of other places to generate income other than the payments from your bond funds.
Yeah.
So
you said that there's a lot of variables with investing in banks. Wouldn't that, I guess I was always under the assumption that because banks are like federally insured and anytime that there's like a financial crisis, it seems like banks kind of get bailed out. So then wouldn't your investment in those banks also get kind of bailed out?
Yeah, at a much lower price.
Yeah, but they're kind of like would always bounce back. But that's not, you're saying not enough to offset the risk.
No, I don't want anything to do with banks.
Okay.
I'll let Warren Buffett deal with that. I'd much rather invest in companies that have rising sales and rising earnings. But getting back to your initial question, is the market going to be volatile before the election? And not so much. The market is concentrating on one, what the Fed is going to do, two, what companies are producing in terms of their earnings right now. When the election happens next week, I think that's when you'll see a little bit more volatility because there may not be a result, not only in terms of who wins the presidency, but who wins the Senate and or House. And that might take a few weeks to, we'll say, sort out the mess.
Absolutely. And Josh, I know you mentioned that like banks are something that you love to stay away from because of all the variables. For maybe investing novices out there who want to get more involved with it, what's something that you feel like doesn't have as many variables that they can maybe dip their toe in the water for investing that maybe isn't let's low risk?
If you're starting out investing, and you know nothing, smartest thing in my estimation, go buy an index fund. What I'll say, an S&P index fund, which will have the top 500 stocks in it.
Okay.
And because the index goes on a market, we'll say market capitalization weighted fund. So the market capitalization is the price of the stock times the number of shares outstanding. So right now, the biggest stocks or the stocks that are overweight in the S&P 500 are primarily technology stocks, like my favorite, Apple.
Small company.
You have NVIDIA is now number 2, which is a chip manufacturer.
Yep.
Then you have Microsoft. You have Google, Amazon, Facebook. Then comes in Warren Buffett's company, Berkshire Hathaway, which is a big conglomerate. And then I think Tesla is back up in that group. So now you've got some of the leading companies in the U.S. or at the top of that group. And then we come down to a lot smaller weighted companies, which will include local companies like Best Buy, 3M, General Mills, Honeywell, are in that group of stocks.
Yeah.
So just starting out, here's the S&P 500 index. And as a matter of fact, if you have a 401k and you have all these choices, I would avoid putting money into the target dated choices, which are heavily weighted to bond funds as well as stock funds.
Okay.
And I think that cost-wise, the target dated funds, which typically are fund of funds of the conglomerate that puts those together, rather than focusing on that, you could make your own target date fund if you wanted.
Mm-hmm.
But for most people putting money into the 401k, I would look for the S&P 500 option.
Yep.
And then maybe put we'll say 75% of your money in that, and then 25% into a small or mid cap index, and that would be your best choice for accumulating wealth on a monthly basis, regardless of whether the market is up and down. If the market is down, jump up and down, you're able to buy more shares in the fund.
Okay. Perfect. And Josh, because I know we got to get you out of here shortly, but if let's say it's tax season, I get my tax return, and instead of blowing it on a new flat screen TV, I want to invest in my future, but I don't want to do the things that you just said. I'm like, I'd just rather give you the money and you find the winners to make me a millionaire. What how easy is it to start that process, and how much of the $1 million that you make me do I have to give to you?
$1 million. My clients pay me 1.5% of the value of their accounts on an annualized basis. It's easy to set up an account with me. Just call, set up an appointment, and I need your name, address, social security number, a picture ID.
A picture ID, ladies and gentlemen. All right.
It's like when you guys go to, register for your early vote. What do they ask for? Your picture ID.
Yeah, but nobody else has to show it anywhere else in America. I just love that.
Isn't that the so what's the big deal when I show up at the polling station with me pulling out my picture ID?
I know. It's unbelievable.
Gosh.
All right,
Don't get me started. See you later this week.
Now, wait a second. I want to tell you something before you go.
Okay.
Catherine's going in for a little procedure today. Not a big deal.
I hope she's okay.
She is okay. Absolutely. She's going in for a little procedure today. But I called. Took them quite a while to answer. And then they transferred me to a second person.
Okay.
Then they transferred me to a third person.
Okay.
Then they finally transferred me to the fourth person. As they were transferring me to the fourth person, Catherine was calling me. So I thought I would tell her what we're up to. I click on the phone and I go, I have been on hold for 17 minutes, been transferred 4 times. I got no idea what to call about. And the nurse goes, oh, I'll take care of that. It was both Catherine and the nurse on the phone. And I'm just ripping the hell out of the hospital and everybody answering the phone. I'm like, uh-oh. Oops. Don't stab my wife because of what I just said. How about that?
Oh my God.
But 17 minutes. And they were calling me to tell me something.
Yeah. Well, Catherine, she's like, hey, can you tell Tom to text or to call? And I was like, oh, he just walked out. He should be on the phone. And she's like, he didn't call. He's still not calling. I was like, then you came in like, oh, hold for 4 times or whatever. I was like, oh yeah, we're having some technical difficulties.
So hopefully they won't slice off one of her ears or something while she's there, just because I pissed them off so much by telling them they were a pain in
Just
the
the
ass.
lobe. Just the earlobe.
Just the earlobe. Okay. All right, you pill. I will talk to you later on in the week.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
See you Thursday.
Looking forward to it. Thanks, Ben.
Bye.
Bye. We're going to have lunch on Thursday. That's what he meant by that. He's on the show on Friday, but we're having lunch on Thursday. So
I have to clear my lunch plans and just tag along.
But you should probably.
Just it's like the booth one table over.
I'm going to call you from the booth and go, I've been sitting in this booth for 17 minutes and nobody's here.
I've been waiting to order. I
got to tell you something. I won't say which hospital it is because obviously this woman, what a talent. She never got the least bit upset. She was like, oh, I'll take care of that for you. Don't worry about that. It'll be just fine. Honest to God, I was lighting up that hospital like that, and she just went, "Oh, don't worry about it. It'll be fine."
Oh, well, they're probably so used to getting like with like serious life and death situations where people call in just ready to burn it all down, and so she's like, "Okay, we'll de-escalate this. I'll go yell at who I need to yell at."
And I'm sure anything you said on the phone pales in comparison to some of the on edge family members in person in front of her, just giving her an earful. So I'm sure it was fine.
Okay, we'll close with this one because you just gave me a memory again. Man, I got memories, a lot of violence in my life. It's unfortunate, but
well, I don't know. I feel bad about giving you this memory then.
My brother Troy, who unfortunately died a few years ago, but when he was, he was much, much younger, he went through the windshield in a car accident. So I got a call from the hospital that I needed to come and see him because they didn't know how he was going to do because, he went through the windshield, the whole deal. So for a while, they didn't expect him to make it, and thank God he did. But I will never forget, I was up like all night sitting there with him and all the rest of it. I had no sleep, tired as hell. All of a sudden, in the emergency room, because it was at North Memorial Hospital, as a matter of fact, I can say that because he did a great job. But the double doors come whipping open. There's this giant man holding onto a woman who's cut from her inside elbow all the way down to her wrist on both arms. Oh, she obviously tried to kill herself. Yeah, right. He comes in and he said, and I thought, this has to be a nightmare. This could not have actually happened. He comes in, this gigantic man too. The guy is huge. He's carrying his wife. She's bleeding like a mad woman. I'm seeing her arms are just sliced open. And he goes, somebody needs to help me. My wife's got some serious ligament damage. And I went, I think it's a little worse than ligament damage. I got to be honest with you.
Yeah. And in that moment, you're probably in such shock that you're just like, how do I explain what is going on? It's like ligament damage. Yeah. It's not
ligament.
It's not a torn. You don't need Tommy John surgery.
Yeah. How about the blood vessels, things like that were ripped open? I don't think she made it either. I don't think she was even hanging on when he brought her through the door, but I would imagine if you find your wife like that, because she obviously tried to kill herself, that you would be so shocked and stunned by the whole deal that I suppose you would have no idea what the hell you're even doing.
No.
Kind of like Kristen Burt talking about entertainment. She has no idea what she's doing, but we put her on anyway.
She leaves us stunned and shocked.
Stunned and shocked. And then we
got ligament damage.
We got ligament damage from listening to Kristen Burt, KB2. And she is up next. Does thinking about retirement make you uncomfortable? Sometimes the anxiety for wondering if you saved enough can be overwhelming. But what if I told you that you could ease those tensions in just 48 minutes? My guy, Josh Arnold, Mr. Money Talk, can sit down with you and get you on the right track for your financial future. Josh has navigated it all when it comes to uncertain market and economic conditions, and he'll always provide straight talk. Never sugar-coated advice on how to reach the finish line with your retirement goals. Don't let your financial worries give you an ulcer or keep you from calling Josh right now. His 48-minute no-obligation consultation could be just what you need to feel better about your future. Call Josh today at 952-925-5608. Set up your free 48-minute no-obligation consultation. That's 952-925-5608. Investment services offered by Josh Arnold Investment Consultant, LLC Security Investment Advisor. Past performance is no guarantee of future results. All investments must involve risk. You know that. All comments and opinions of Josh Arnold do not constitute investment advice. I am a paid endorser.
When you need someone to listen, a lawyer you know and trust.
If you've never been in an auto accident, it's hard to know what to expect from the insurance adjuster. Here are some tips. 1, if they talk to you about whether or not you should hire a lawyer, it's a good sign that you probably should. 2, it's illegal for them to give you any legal advice. They aren't lawyers and they aren't licensed to practice law. 3, if they tell you that everyone involved in the accident is at fault, they're wrong. This comes from the belief that you're at fault for just being on the road. That's nonsense and not supported by any law. Finally, remember that friendly adjusters are often just gaining information. They want you to do most of the talking so they can file their report. I'm Mike Bryant from Bradshaw & Bryant. I hope you're never injured in a collision. But if you are, don't sign anything until you've talked to us.
Find Bradshaw & Bryant, personal injury attorneys at minnesotapersonalinjury.com.
Seeking justice for the injured. Bradshaw and Bryant.
I hosted my show on the radio for 40 years. Now I host the Tom Barnard Podcast. And I'll tell you, I've never seen the passion and engagement from our audience as I do now. I know we also have businesses that listen to our podcast, and it got me thinking, wouldn't it be great to help those businesses grow by telling my listeners about them? So here's the deal. If you own or handle marketing for a business, would like to have my audience buy your product or service, visit TomBarnardShow.com, keyword partner, and we'll put together an ad campaign to help your business. That's TomBarnardShow.com, keyword partner, and thank you for listening.
This is the Tom Barnard Podcast.
Kristen Bird Entertainment News brought to you by North American Banking Company. Go to nabanco.com to learn more. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. Kristen Burt, what are you doing?
Good morning. Right now I am writing about Gisele Bündchen being pregnant and Tom Brady's feelings about it.
Oh, how's that going with her new boyfriend?
Well, I think he's a little bit in his feelings because he posted a photo of a sunset in his Instagram story. It's still there right now if you want to go and run and look at it. And then it has the Chicks version of Landslide playing over it. And then he has Stevie Nicks quotes because originally, of course, it was a Fleetwood Mac song. So he is obviously dealing with the transition in his life. His ex-wife is having a baby with another man.
Transition? You mean cheating on someone is a transition?
I would say that if you talk to Gisele, they have a different timeline than what has been published.
Oh, like what do you mean?
She said that, he was her comfort person. This is her boyfriend, Joaquim Valente, we're talking about. He was also her jujitsu instructor, but that he was her support person and that it was a friendship and nothing happened until a year after her divorce. That is the public story she's putting out there. And Kevin doesn't believe it.
Don't believe a word of it. Because, so you guys were just friends for a year while you were married. And then now all of a sudden.
No, wait. I'm going to back this up even more. Joaquim has been in their families' lives because he was the kids' jiu-jitsu instructor.
Yeah.
We're going back probably like 5 years. So he has been a presence in their family while she was married to Tom Brady.
Yeah. And from her end, it probably was like, oh, this is just the kid's jiu-jitsu instructor. But from his end, he was playing the long game.
Yeah.
He was playing the long game for sure.
I have a question for you.
He was included, like the kids are homeschooled, at least the two youngest ones, the ones from Tom Brady's marriage to Gisele, because he also has a child with Bridget Moynihan, who I believe is in school, but they were homeschooled. So that was their gym class, was their jujitsu instructor. And when the kids would go to Costa Rica, they would continue their schooling and he would get brought to Costa Rica.
Oh, of course he would. What a great idea.
And Tom was too obsessed with football to probably even notice half of this anyway. So it's, I guess, his own fault.
Possible.
Hey, who wins out, Joaquim?
I have a question for you. So this guy, as a jiu-jitsu instructor and all the rest of it, he's having sex with her, and as he's finishing, did he go, whoa?
He plays the Kung Fu fighting song.
Joaquim and his brother have a very well-known Miami area jiu-jitsu studio, and all of the Miami area celebrities take their kids to them. So he's not poor. He has a thriving business too, which I think is kind of interesting, and so everyone that's on, what's the really famous, Star Island, but was it also Indian Head Island? What's Billionaire Row or Billionaire Bunker in Miami?
Oh yeah, that island. What is it called? I can't remember. I know which I've never been on the island, but I've seen it. I can't remember what it is.
Yeah. So whatever that is, all those kids go to Joaquin's studio for their jujitsu instruction.
On the island?
He is the celebrity jujitsu instructor. And that's what happens. Like, it's a word of mouth thing. If you get like a couple of good celebrities as your clientele, guess what? Other celebrities will go and take their kids there.
That's true.
Yeah.
You have to treat them properly, no question about it.
But, Tom Brady is busy trying to have a broadcasting career, and we'll see what happens. He's not very good right now.
No. He's terrible. And isn't
he?
Yeah. Isn't he dating? He's got some new love interest as well. So it's not like he's just sitting at home.
He's been on and off with like 4 different models at this point. He dated Irina Shayk. He dated Brooks Nader, who was on Dancing with the Stars. I mean, it's been all over the place, but he's got a type. So he's fine. He's Tom Brady.
Would you date somebody named Shank?
As long as they didn't shank me.
Shayk. Sorry, I mispronounced it. Irina Shayk. It's Bradley Cooper's ex. Yeah.
Who? Bradley Cooper?
Bradley Cooper's ex.
Did any of these people stay married, for God's sake?
They never married. So Irina and Bradley had a daughter together named Leah, and they're co-parenting. And now Bradley Cooper is with Gigi Hadid, who had a baby with Zayn Malik from One Direction. And there you go.
What is this? What is this web that we're weaving?
It is a web.
It means that everybody in Hollywood dates each other, and there's so much overlap. It is really messy. So my advice is to stay on top of your sexual health.
Good plan.
Yeah.
Stay on top of your sexual health.
Now Tom Brady doesn't watch any more Bradley Cooper movies, and Bradley Cooper can't watch any more football games. And it's
it's a mess.
Everybody.
Honestly, God, it's so weird because Catherine and I have been together for 44 years. We've been married for 40 years. And I think we're the only ones left in America. That's about it.
Probably. Marriage is viewed very differently among younger generations. It's really interesting. Yeah.
It's all true. What are you going to do? Such is life. So everything else good, or are we just going to talk about people cheating on their spouse?
I think the Tom Brady story is so fascinating just because his decision to unretire I felt like was a house of cards. So I always find that to be an interesting decision of choosing career over family, and kind of just resulted to where he is now. And I'm not sure that he loves his broadcasting career. I felt like he just thinks it's the natural step to take, because that's what a lot of former athletes do. But I don't think he feels comfortable in it. I'm not sure that he loves it. Where I look at someone like Jason Kelce, and I think Jason Kelce loves it. He loves talking and broadcasting and engaging with people. And Tom Brady's just like, I'm here because I don't know what my post-retirement life looks like.
So you guys say he's not very good, though, huh? I've not seen him.
It's gotten better, but it's very like it's kind of, I don't know. It seems very pre-programmed, if that makes sense. Like he kind of knows what he's going to say after a play, and then, all right, Jim, back to you.
Yeah, it's not. It doesn't feel natural.
No,
like I think he thought, because I'm sure with football, he kind of just showed up and was like, I'm going to do my thing and it's going to work. And then he kind of takes that approach to the booth, and it's not. He just has to figure out his style and make it his own, and not do, I guess, what people think. I feel like he does what he thinks people think he should do, instead of just doing his own thing.
Do you think because of our background, I should reach out to him and teach him what the hell he should be doing?
I'm going to bet. I'm going to put money on this, that Fox News has hired him a media coach and is working with him behind the scenes, because the criticism is out there on the internet. I mean, this is not a secret by any means. I mean, if I know about it and I follow Zero Football, then it is definitely out there in the zeitgeist. And so I'm sure that they're like, we made a huge investment in Brady. We gave him a 1-year sort of layoff before he even went into the broadcasting booth. And he's still not that good. And they know that, that's, you have an A-list star with you. You've got to be delivering A-list broadcasting.
Yeah. Because they invested $375 million over 10 years for Tom Brady to cover football games. So they're
what?
Yeah. He got 10 years, $375 million.
Yeah.
What? Jesus, I'm sitting here. What am I making?
Read it again. It might make sense that time.
Holy God.
And he no experience. All his experience was just being the greatest football player of all time. And they were like, let's go.
Tom,
Okay.
have you done media coaching for people before?
No,
Like
they
maybe
asked
someone
me to forget
on a
it.
corporate level. Yeah. So I find, because I've done coaching for people, and I find that people either like grasp onto the idea of what you need to do, especially in front of the camera, because the camera adds a whole other element for people. Some people can be so engaging, like in a conversation with you off camera. The second they get on camera, they're like, I am a robot. And it can be such a hard thing to break because they just get in their head and they can't get out. And I have a feeling Tom Brady is one of those.
Okay, I need a percentage from the three of you on how this worked out. Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
There's a town in northern Minnesota. It's about 125, 130 miles northwest of the Twin Cities. It's called Browerville, Minnesota. And many, many years ago, 2 women were born in Browerville, Minnesota. One of them was Tom Brady's mother, and the other one was my mother. They both had, baby. So they were both just born there. Then they grew up and they both had a boy. They both named their baby Tommy B. So born in the same area, 2 boys, both of them named Tommy B. And I happen to be the one that doesn't make $375 million in a 10-year period. What happened?
You didn't play football.
Yeah.
Can you imagine me being on a team? No, I'm not a team player. I never have been. You suck. Just do that, all the time. But yeah, I mean, this guy's making what, $500 million, and I'm sitting here going, I'm a disc jockey. Great.
Yeah, making damn near $500 million while everybody thinks he's terrible.
I know.
He is failing upward. I want to know how to fail upward because I have not mastered that.
Me either. No question about it.
And I think he got that contract because Tony Romo, who was a much worse quarterback than Tom Brady over the course of his career, still fine. But then he gets into the broadcast booth and it was just hitting home run after home run.
Good.
He's a good broadcaster.
And so then Fox was like, well, if CBS does that with Tony Romo, we're going to one-up them with Tom Brady. And so that's probably why they gave him all that money up front.
Well, how do they not know he sucks at it?
Well,
They should have auditioned him.
Oh God, yeah. Well, the thing is, like, they were never going to. But it's always funny where, like, for instance, Kevin O'Connell, he didn't have like the stature of being a good NFL QB, but like his mind is there, so now he's a good coach because he knows that. It feels like the guys who are more like locker room glue guys, but know the game, end up being better at the broadcasting side of things because they're forced to have that personality. Whereas Tom Brady, he was just able to go through and be whoever he wants to be because he was talented. And now he's at this stage of his life. And it's like, well, Tom, you got all this money, but you're just not doing great on every Sunday.
Yeah.
Like every broadcast is a rough listen, man.
Yeah. And I would assume it's kind of the same in the entertainment world or with Dancing with the Stars, where the people that are just naturally gifted, they can't really describe to somebody how to do it because they're like, well, what do you mean you can't just snap your fingers and become a great actor? Like, but then the actors that, kind of struggle and have to really work at it and treat it like a craft, they're able to teach it a little bit more because they kind of pay attention to more of the nuances and stuff.
See, there you go. What do you think of that, actually? So, yeah, I'm glad I've not watched him then because I did like him as a quarterback, but I haven't seen him do any games. So I should just stay away from it. He's that bad.
I think it's an interesting story to follow because I'm not sure how much. I'm curious as to how long Fox will keep him there if it continues on this kind of like mediocre level. Will they move him to something else or like find a show or find him to do like a segment instead of doing like the actual calling of the game? That I'm really curious about because, you have someone like Jason Kelsey who's working for ESPN and he is full of personality that they're now building a late night talk show for him on the network.
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
So
is he doing like a game show or something too already?
Travis Kelsey is doing the game show.
Travis Kelsey's doing the game show.
And then together they have their, 100, 25 or $35 million deal for their podcast.
Do you think there's any chance that the people will reach out to me and go, listen, Tommy B, we know you can do this much better than the other Tommy B. So even if you give me half, I'll come out and do it. I'll do it for 180.
Are you pitching to Spotify? You have to pitch to Spotify.
I do. I have to pitch to Spotify on the whole deal.
Yeah, Spotify, Audible. Like if people are pitching, and Spotify, I feel like was like 2 or 3 years ago was the big deals. I feel like a lot of people are moving to either Sirius XM or they're moving to Audible, Wondery.
Sirius XM. God, I haven't heard that. I get notifications from Sirius XM all the time, like every month. You haven't paid your bill this month. Well, that's because I'm not on Sirius XM. That might be why. I don't listen to Sirius XM.
It's hard because everything's a subscription these days. And
Yeah.
I think people have fatigue from that because you're subscribing to your TV and you're subscribing to your audio, your podcast, your radio, whatever it is. I mean, I saw someone on social media that was like, I wound up subscribing to Printer Ink, and they didn't realize that they had subscribed to Printer Ink when they bought their printer.
Oh, God.
And their HP printer will not print until they pay their bill. Like there's some sort of, yes, the software stops the printing process until you pay your ink bill.
Eek. You have an ink bill. That's not good.
Yeah. Do not sign up for the subscription like ink from HP people.
That is unbelievable.
Yeah.
It just shuts it down.
I think that's a thing on some cars too. Like you subscribe to like heated seats or whatever.
Yeah.
But if you don't pay your car bill, like I just don't think your car starts.
Yeah, like Toyotas, for example, you have to subscribe to get like the heated seats or the remote start if you want to be able to start it from your phone, and it's like a $10 whatever subscription
monthly charge. It's a great way to get like extra. It's like paying $50 for your luggage to get checked. It is like those scam fees and like build it in. It's why I prefer flying Southwest, because I'm like, if I have even though I might have to sometimes take a second plane, I'm like, if I have a lot of luggage for a trip, I'm like 2 bags free. Thank you. Done. It's packed into the price.
All right. I know you got to go, but I do need your take on this final story.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that Puerto Rico is a pile of garbage?
No. Puerto Rico is beautiful.
I know it is.
People were saying they said you didn't like Puerto Rico.
Beautiful. Puerto Rico's gorgeous.
It is beautiful. Why would he say that? I don't understand. Was he just being a jerk?
Well, he's a roast comedian, and let's tie this all back to Tom Brady. He was on the Tom Brady roast.
Oh, that's right.
And I don't think hiring a roast comedian for a political rally is a good idea for anyone, especially this close to an election, and especially when it's a very close election. If you're following, if we're going to believe the polls, I don't know what's happening at this point. My vote is in. I'm done with the election.
All the rest of it.
It's done. I voted in person over the weekend, but that's the thing. I think it was just, I'm not sure. And this is what I've said a couple of times about Trump's campaign. Like, who is vetting all of this? And it's like when they sent Jaden Vance into, I don't know if it was a donut or a chicken restaurant or whatever it was, like make sure that the people they are going to interact with are going to be engaging or want to be on camera.
Right.
Or want to be there. Same thing. Comedian. Do you know what his comedy's like? Have you watched it? Is this right for the audience? These are things that a PR communications team or an advanced team should be vetting seriously.
Maybe that's what he said. PR is a garbage. They thought it was a professional recruitment. Maybe it was a different PR he was talking
We
about.
love Puerto Rico.
Puerto Rico's phenomenal. You're
It's
absolutely
amazing.
right.
Yes.
Like I said, my brother-in-law was Puerto Rican, so I couldn't stab him in the back by saying it sucked anyway, even if it did, and it doesn't.
There's a big PR community too in the Northeast. When I lived in New York City, I would say out of the Hispanic community that Puerto Ricans made up a large part, at least when I lived there. And I know there's swing states in there, you know, you don't want to be upsetting a community that close to an election.
Can you find a Puerto Rican anywhere but New York or Miami?
I guess there's a large community of them in Pennsylvania.
Oh, in Orlando
They
too.
say it's
Right.
Pennsylvania,
Yeah,
we don't have a lot of Puerto Rican community here in Los
No,
Angeles.
too
It's
far.
Mexican, South
Yep.
American, Central America. Yeah.
Got any honkies?
This
Just
one.
her. Got one person. That's the only one left. All
So
right.
pale, it blinds everyone.
Another brilliant report. So now I'm going to find out if I can take Tom Brady's job because he sucks at it.
I would love for you to watch it. Maybe watch like
I
a
will.
quarter.
I'll watch him. So he's on Sunday nights. Is that when he's on?
He's on Fox's game. So usually they have like a 3:00 game that they throw him on.
Oh, okay. So I'll watch it this weekend and suffer through it mightily.
Yeah, we want your review. I want to hear it.
You got it, Pally. All right. Well, we will talk to you tomorrow.
Yes, and tonight maybe the Dodgers will be. I was going to say Super Bowl. I keep on saying Super Bowl, World Series champions. I keep on saying You're just saying, I'm like, when's the Super Bowl? I mean, World Series. I know the difference. But the Super Bowl, for some reason, is at the front of my brain. So
you're a Dodger fan, obviously.
clearly, I am going out with a friend tonight to watch the game. So,
do you have any idea what the American League team in LA is?
Anaheim Ducks.
See,
Close.
I knew
hockey.
you wouldn't know this.
That's close. That's hockey. But the Angels.
That's close.
Anaheim.
Close. I love that. He goes, that's close. It's hot.
It is. I got the right city. I got the right city.
You got the right
so
city.
That's what I was thinking.
Los Angeles Angels or Anaheim or whatever
They used to be the Anaheim Angels, and then they changed to just Los Angeles. But yes,
Chris is just
very
hoping
close.
that both teams have fun and that the Dodgers hit a touchdown tonight. So.
Enjoy your sports ball, people.
Who was it that said, I kick a touchdown? I kick a touchdown. Who was that again? It was on Saturday Night Live or something?
Probably. There's so many.
It was very
It was probably Domingo.
Yeah, probably.
Did anyone get my joke?
Yes.
The bridesmaids wanted a celebration. So we took a trip. Bachelorette vacation. I
really
cannot get that out of my head. It's
I told you we should have gotten her off a couple of minutes ago. You
you
wouldn't
should
listen.
have. This is where it goes downhill, you guys.
He was in Minnesota a week or two ago doing a stand-up set, I think, at the U of M.
Who was?
What's his name?
Domingo.
Marcelo Hayes, I think his name is. I'm not sure. But the guy who on Saturday Night Live who played that, and every time now he says, like, I have to lead with this thing before we can actually do
Just
the
to get it
jokes
over
that I
with.
wrote. Yeah, he's like,
Yeah.
let's just get it over with. Get your phones out. All right, now I want to do my stand-up set.
Yep.
I saw
Marcelo.
that on TikTok last night.
Marcelo Hernandez. That's who it is.
Yes.
All right, Christenbert. We will talk to you tomorrow.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Bye.
Guten Tag. Kristen Bird Entertainment News brought to you by North American Banking Company. Go to nabanco.com to learn more. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. So, fellas, you got a big day planned?
Yeah, I got a busy day, actually.
You going to be able to handle it next a week from Thursday when Andy's hosting the show with the two of you?
Might even be easier with Andy.
Oh, here we go. Oh, Tom sucks. Boy, look at the time.
Wow.
No, well, let's just recap the week here.
Oh, yes. Please dig yourself out of this one.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying, I've seen Andy drink without spilling on himself.
Yeah, true.
Check.
Oh, so it's a shot at the crotch deal again. Okay, that's how it's going. You notice I haven't gotten this anywhere near my crotch today.
You've actually, you like Kevin pointed out, you've been very cautious about it.
There's
You've been
no
taking
question about it.
precautions.
Well, it was a little embarrassing.
So,
And if I were wearing these pants, you wouldn't be able to see it because
Yeah.
it's dark.
It was the perfect storm of like light colored pants,
Yep,
right in
and-
the wrong spot. Yeah.
Yeah, no question about it. Right in the crotch. It was just a beauty. And the former mayor of Wayzata was very impressed with me. The fact that I had big pee stains on my pants. All right, fellas, we'll talk to you tomorrow. Family Show's up next.